Hi you guys, No Just Henry here, back again with Measurable Difference. So today is gonna be actually a two-part look. The first is gonna be a natural beauty look. So it's really simple, really just natural beauty. Then you gotta stay tuned for the next video, which is gonna be a bump up, where we turn that natural beauty into nighttime glam. So for this first part of the look, it's going to be a natural beauty look. So we want to make sure we do highlight and contouring, but not too much, because this is a natural beauty. So we want to keep it real nice and simple. So I'm going to be using this Sculpt Perfection Quad from Measurable Difference. So out of the two colors, I'm going to be using the darker color, and I'm going to be using it just to accentuate her cheekbones. I like using product very, very lightly and then building up. And then this color is just perfect enough where it adds color, but it doesn't add depth. You don't want too much, because remember, this is a natural beauty look. If you're doing our bump up look, which is going to be more glam, we're going to warm it up a little bit to give it more depth. But right now, we just want to give it more of a flush. And I love this cream because it's layerable. So as the more I put on, it doesn't separate. And you can start to see the difference, and it's really good. Thankfully, she has really beautiful skin. And looks like these are also really good if you are going to the beach or having a day out and you want makeup on, but you don't want it to feel like you try too hard to do it. So turn the other way this way. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on her hairline. This just warms the rest of the face up so it all looks even. Whenever I do any kind of contour that is more like a bronzer, I always do it in a C shape, and it helps round out the face a little bit, especially if the face is a little bit more narrow. Okay, so now I'm going to use the lighter color, and I'm going to use this as a highlight. Now sometimes I like mixing this warm tone with a little bit of the yellow just to brighten it up a little bit if it's too dark. So look up for me. So this is a little warm, so then I just go and I mix it in with a little bit of the yellow. And I mix them together. And this will get a little bit of that highlight underneath. And then when I set it with the translucent powder, or a pressed powder if you want a little bit more coverage, it'll warm it down a little bit. So we set the face with some translucent powder, and you can still see the warmth shine through, so that's really good. Now we want to still add a little bit of that natural dew. So we're going to use the Blossom Rouge Cream Blush Palette from Measurable Difference to add a pop of color and take away a little bit of that dryness from the cheeks that usually happens when you set it with the translucent powder. I love peach tones, so I'm going to use this peach tone right here on her cheeks. I'm going to use it really lightly so it doesn't show up too much, but I just want to give her a little bit of life to the cheeks. Smile for me. And you can see by just adding a little bit, it just adds a perfect amount of life to her cheeks. So now that we added a little bit of peach to the cheeks, I want to give a little bit of highlight. Not too much because it is a natural look, but just a little bit, just to accentuate the cheekbones. So we're going to use the contour palette from Measurable Difference, and all of these are matte powders, except this yellow one right here. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. So it's perfect if you just add a little bit, gives it a little bit of shine. So when you use this product, it does have a lot of pigment, so you always want to make sure you get any excess off. And then I like going right above the cheekbone, but I want to do it really lightly. give a little pop of shine, not too much. Smell? And then I'm going to put a little bit just on the bridge of the nose. Just to reflect some of that sunlight. So now that we added a little bit of shine to the cheeks, the next thing we're going to do is the brows. So I'm going to use the Measurable Difference brow kit that they have. There's 4 different colors in here. I'm going to go with more of a lighter color because remember this is a natural beauty look. So we're going to go with this color and maybe ombre it out a little bit. We're going to start with this lighter color first. So with the lighter color, I kind of just fill it in. And I like to keep the lighter color here and then warm up the color, darken it here. So we're going to use the second color. So we're giving this more of a natural look, but in the next look we're going to go and make it a little bit more defined. But because this is a more natural beauty, we don't want to define it too much or else it's going to look too structured. Also, you can, I like big, bold, defined brows. I mean, Cara Delevingne made them really, really popular and I love them. So whenever I want to thicken my brow a little bit, I start lower. If you could see right here, I thicken her brow by shading it a little bit lower here and then blending it upward. So if that's what you want to create, if you don't like the super structured brow, you can always give yourself a fuller brow by expanding the end. Just don't overdo it. So now from that brow kit, I'm going to use the brow gel just to set the brows. I love using brow gels, especially tinted ones. Tinted brow gels are also really nice too, but this gives us the brows structure. Structure is always a good thing. So now that we gave structure to the brows, the next thing we're going to move on to is the eyes. Now I want to give color to the eyes, but I don't want them to be too dramatic, so I just want a little bit of warmth around the eyes as well. We're going to use the Brilliantly Bronzed palette from Measurable Difference. This palette has a blush, a bronzer, and 3 eyeshadows and a gloss. But we're actually going to use the bronzer as eyeshadow. I like using blushes as eyeshadows and some eyeshadows as blushes. So this is a perfect warm color that will go around her beautifully almond shaped eyes. So I'm gently putting this on and just going in little circular motions. Open. And you can see it's just giving her nice natural color around her eyes. And even though this is a natural look, we want to add a little bit of this. The color is called Sun-Kissed Bronze. Just a little bit on here so that it takes out a little bit of the red undertones in the eyeshadow. And because this is a sheen, it doesn't come off dramatic. It just comes off as a nice hue of shimmer. And then we're just going to add a little bit here just to warm the under of the eyes. So with the Sculpt Perfection palette that we used earlier, I like getting 2 of the lighter colors and mixing them together. And I lightly put them underneath the brow. We do this so that we can blend it out and it still gives a little bit of that highlight to the brow bone area. So sometimes when you are applying eyeshadow, you might blend it up too high. This is also a good tip. So you can put the cream underneath the brow and then you can blend it down to make the eyeshadow go a little bit lower. So now we're gonna use one of our Measurable Difference lipsticks. And we're gonna give a little bit of color to the lips because this look is very, very warm and very natural, that we do want a little bit of a pinkish tint to it to kind of balance out the color. Okay, now lastly, we're going to add mascara for the end of this look. We're not gonna do false eyelashes because this is the natural beauty look. So for the next look, when we bump it up, then we're gonna throw some falsies on her. So right now, I'm gonna just add some mascara, and this will just add a perfect amount of drama to this natural beauty look. So here is the final look. Thank you for being my model for today. This is a very simple, quick, natural beauty look. The next video is actually gonna be a bump up where we take this look and we turn it into a glam night look. So please stay tuned. If you're not subscribed yet to Measurable Difference, please subscribe. And if you're not following us on Instagram, it's Measurable Difference. Again, I'm Notice Henry. Thank you.